Normally, I'd be doing a ride and talk, and I did ride my bike earlier to the store, but I figured let's do something a little bit differently. Instead of riding this, I want to do a work and talk. Now, what is a work and talk? I've done these before. You go and you work around on the job or the house or whatever. I may do an occasional video from a job that I'm doing, but out of respect for my customers, I don't do videos on jobs that I'm doing on a normal basis. But since it's my house, well, it's the government's house, but I paid my lease for the year, so it'll be mine for another year. I have some work to do, and I have a very important assignment I need to take care of. You see this big lump sitting right here? Well, underneath this tarp is my parts engine. And I need to get this engine in a way that I can start taking it apart. So we'll take a look at this. And as you can see, it's pretty heavy. You can't really move this thing by hand. It's just not physically possible. So, how do I move the engine? Well, this engine sat behind this garage door about 12 feet inside the door for about 15 years. And using leverage, I was able to get the engine to the garage door, and you can see the little scrapes in the concrete where I wiggled it around. Now, what high-tech tool did I use to move the engine out of the garage? Well, believe it or not, I used a pry bar and I used this, which is a trenching shovel. And what I did to move the engine, I simply took the trenching shovel, put it underneath, and then pried up on it a little bit. And as you can see, the engine does move a little bit. But that only works on a hard surface like concrete. Now here's my truck. As you can see, here's the old engine. It has very low compression and has all kinds of problems. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out. Now, when I was a kid, it was pretty common for teenagers and young adults that didn't have a lot of money to work on their own cars. And a lot of younger people, they like to improve their cars. Or as the old timers used to call it, soup them up. Make them super. And one of the easiest ways to soup up a car was to do an engine swap. So you might get a regular sedan with a 6-cylinder or small block V8, and then you'll find some luxury car or some wrecked muscle car, get a hold of the big block and stick it in there, and you get an instant power upgrade, both horsepower and torque, and all for the cost of whatever the junk engine was. And of course, if you had a car with a worn out engine, rather than rebuilding the original engine, you could pick up a junk car for, back then, as little as $50. And you strip the car, take the engine out of it. One of the most common ways to pull an engine, I don't know if you can see it here, you get one of these really large tree branches, and you get a strap, and you get one of those chain hoists, and you basically just use the tree branch to pick up the engine. But this engine is so heavy, if I tried to use this tree to do it, I'd probably tip the whole tree over. This tree is unstable as it is, so that's not going to happen. Besides, the branches over the truck, they're too skinny anyway, they would break. So how is a weakling like me with toothpick arms going to take a big monster engine like this that's got to weigh 800 pounds or more? I mean, these diesels are not light, and get it out of there. And as you can see, it looks like the rodents have gotten in here. They're trying to destroy my truck like they always do. See if I can move this with something. Looks like up here we got, yep, those are rodent droppings. Look at that. See? So this needs to be done before they chew up the wiring harness and completely destroy the truck. These batteries, they're about 6 years old. They're bulgy, they're no good. I kept them charged, but this crappy stuff they make nowadays, it doesn't last. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take the batteries out. So now these are already kind of loose. So what we do, we just start removing some of the accessories. I'm going to put these inside the truck. For now, we'll just put it inside like that. Got all the leaves and stuff. I'm going to get a leaf blower and blow all this out. And we'll just start taking things out. Now, what do we take out first? We want to remove anything that is easily damaged or lightweight. Now, on the truck itself, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to remove the grill, the lights, and the hood will eventually have to come off when I go to winch the engine out, because I'm going to pick the engine straight up, but definitely the radiator. This has to come out, and that's pretty easy to remove. And then we'll remove alternator, air conditioning compressor. I don't know if I took the refrigerant out of this system yet, but if I didn't, I will do a refrigerant recovery. Now let me see if this does have any pressure in it. Something to check out here. I can't reach the valve for some weird reason. Let me see if I can find a leaf or something where I can reach the valve. Here's a little stick. I think I evacuated the system, but let's find out. Nope, still got refrigerant in it. So what I will do, I will get the recovery unit and I'll drag that out here and do that first. And then I will disassemble everything. Take out all the fuel lines, this fuel filter, any accessory that bolts on the engine is going to come out. That way it's less likely to be damaged. And again, looks like these hoses, they're still good. The AC system is not leaking. That's really good. Power steering pump. I'm going to leave the brake system intact, and I'll also leave the power steering gear because it's not in the way. And then what I'll do, I'll move the truck. I'll use the Bobcat to move the truck maybe sideways in this area and point it towards the yard. Then I can just pull the engine out of here and that's it. So it should be a fairly simple matter. Now I'm missing a hinge over here because the other one broke. Let's see if I can find one maybe online. I thought I had a used one. These are basically the same type of hinges that my mom's car used, just a slightly different design. So I'll either fix the old one or I'll find another one. But that is the plan for this. But before I can do anything, as you can see, the parts engine is sitting here. It's in my way. And I got to move this engine. So how in the world am I going to take this big heavy piece of metal out of the yard with what I have? Well, I have a secret weapon. And you probably know what that secret weapon is. I'm one man. Sounds like somebody's doing construction again, of course. Around here, that never ends. This is the pipe that used to be from my front yard camera. Let me get this out of the way. It's another project I need to take on. There we go. So I need to call in my helper. Now, before I call my helper, I got to make sure that everything that is in the way that could be damaged is out of the way. And here I have my chair. So we'll move this over here. There we go. Still working? Yes, it's still working. Okay, and the garden hose, we need to kind of round this up. I have to water my plants again tomorrow. I watered them yesterday. They got to be watered every 2 or 3 days. I did a lot of watering yesterday, so we can do it tomorrow. Not a big deal. Okay. There we go. Garden hose is in place. You might wonder why I haven't done this job before. And the reason I didn't is because of this little guy. Hey, Milton. You're so friendly today. Look at you. You are so cute. Look at that little kitten. Aw, he's a cuddle little kitten. Look at that. Good thing we're friends again. The way you attacked me, what was it, Friday or Saturday? You really attacked me. But now you're just Mr. Cuddly. Yes. You've been trying to sleep in my bed and being my little buddy, cuddling up to me. Yeah? Aw, you're so cute. Oh, Milton. Don't worry. We got a couple little things in there that are going to come off, and you're going to be a much nicer kitty. Yes, you are. You're such a sweetheart. Oh, what a cute little cuddle kitten. Anyway, let's go and let's get Bob ready. here's Mr. Bob. Now, in order to use Mr. Bob, we have to get Mr. Bob's attachment out. What we have right here, this is known as a pallet fork. This is the unit that we often use to pick things up. Now, I put it in here as a way to stick it here in the side yard. There's one of my rusted out Chargers, Dodge Chargers, sitting there under all that junk. See if I can get this out of here. It's one of the drawbacks about having a small yard. You have to do a lot of hand work with these attachments. Normally in a big yard, you can just keep the thing set up and whenever you need it, it'll be there. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of roll this out of the way. Hopefully I can do this without breaking the phone. There we go. We'll just tip this thing over, flip it around a couple times, and we'll be good to go. There we are. None of this stuff is light, but nothing even a skinny weakling like me can't handle. So I'll pick this up, flip it over. There we go. All right. That looks pretty good. It'll probably fall over, so we'll go ahead and spin it around. There we go. Okay. Now we got to get the forks. Okay. One at a time. Okay. Now you probably notice there's a little notch you have to line this thing up on. So put this over here. Yep, we got caught in there. Down in the notch. And we'll just move it over. That's it. Simple. Oh my goodness, this thing must have gone. No, it's not there. There we are. Yeah, it's got stuck, so we'll get this out of here. There we go. That's one. And get the other one. Okay. I don't know what these things weigh, but they're not light. There we go. All right. Okay. I think that one is that up in the air. Yeah, I guess it is. All right. Put this over here. Okay. Not too bad. There we go. Come on. Stubborn little thing. Oh my goodness. I think it's in there. There we are. Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's check out Mr. Bob. Now this piece of junk. Rotten old edger. Put this over here with the lawnmower junk. Something else to strip for scrap. All right. I'll take the cover off. Okay. Nope. That out of the way. Air in the tire. Yep, this tire's got no air. That one's got air. That one's got no air. Okay. We'll back it up first. All right, now we just have to connect the battery and start it up. There we go. All right. What's going on here? Now the latch doesn't work. Okay. See if Bob will start. I hope. Okay, little Bob. You ran last week. Let's see if you run today. All right. Tire's flat. Okay, that's easy to fix. You just go over here to the air stand and get some air. All right, and I parked the van too close, so maybe a little bit of a squeeze. Good thing I'm skinny. All right, let's see. We'll set this for 50 pounds. That should be enough. Yeah, we'll go to 50. Okay, should have enough line to get there. Looks like this is caught behind here. What is going on? My friend must have used it and didn't put the hose back the right way. Oh well, no big deal. We caught here? Well, maybe not. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and throw this over here, go around and get the hose. This will be fun. There's the end piece. Of course, the little locking mechanism broke. Cheap Chinese crap. Oh well. Let's go over here to Bob. Let's see if we can get this engine moved without straining ourselves. And I'm so glad that my leg doesn't hurt anymore. For like 3 days, thanks to Milton, it was uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't too bad yesterday, but today's the first day I don't feel it anymore. All right, so we're going over here to Bob. Let's get some air in the tire. All right, I don't know where the leak is. There we go. If you don't put air in the tire, when you go to move the machine, it'll come off the bead and then it'll be a real mess. These don't have a locking bead, they're tapered. It's taking air, it's a good sign. Anyway, this should be a pretty easy job. It's working. So, I hope everybody's having a good week so far. It's Tuesday, and Tuesday night is Rick and Russ Mitchell on the Keto Cookout. So, if you want to get into a live, you want to talk to me directly, you want to say something, just check us out at 8:30. You can listen, watch, join in, whatever you want to do. Looks like Bob's tires are taking air. Yeah, these tires aren't that great. I don't use Bob that much, so I'm not worried about it. At one time I used this a lot. Now, if I put 50 hours in a year, that's a lot of use. Okay, I think that'll be all right. Looks like it's inflated. Let me check the other ones while I'm at it. Okay, that looks pretty good, and that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and take this hose out of here before it gets damaged. Problem is I got this engine in the way, so it'll be a little tricky to wrap it up. Okay. You can see why I want to move this thing. It's a real pain having to go over it. There we go. I'll just push this down so that way it'll stop putting out air. Come on. There we go. All right. I'll hang a little bit of it up, but I don't think I'll be able to do the whole thing before it gets all bunched up. If you're old enough, you probably remember these Eco Air Meter devices at all the local gas stations. You won't find any working ones at a gas station now. This is the last one that I know of that even it works. Some of the car guys have them as a novelty, and you know I have this, which I made videos on before I even made carnivore videos. And of course, towards the end of the hose, it always catches on something. There it is. So you're now out. I also feel the itch of velvet mean. I must have missed one of those vines. Oh, I hope I just don't have one hiding up in the tree. I can feel the itch. You know what they say, plants are trying to kill you. Sometimes I believe it. Well, now comes the fun part. I have to figure out how to get this on the front of Bob in a tiny little yard. It's going to be a real mission, but not impossible. Use a little leverage, you know, spin it around like this maybe, and there we go. Not too bad. Okay. See if we can move this a little bit forward. There we go. That's it. All right. Much better. We got enough room back here, so we'll fire up the Bob and we will hook this up. There's a bunch of leaves in here. It's a mess. You have to use the levers, the Bobcat attachment, to attach to this. Once I get it in here, I'll be able to get through this opening. Now let me move this garbage can a little bit, just to get a little extra space. And I'll come through here and try to grab that engine. That should be pretty easy. Make sure there's nothing here that's important. Doesn't seem to be. So let's get little Bob on the job. All right. Fire it up and go. Okay. Okay. There we go. As you can see, it wasn't that hard to get Mr. Bob close enough to the job. And there it is. Plenty of room between the banana plants. A little bit off to the side, but that's how we keep the Piper Sanctum from taking over. It's a small yard, but it sure is easy when you have this little helper. So now all I got to do is figure out, I could pick up the engine with a chain, but I'm going to try to go ahead and see if I can get this expanded a little bit and try to get the engine leveraged up onto these forks. That way I can move it. So I'm going to have to get the shovel and or pry bar and try to move this thing. Now, it is sitting here on this concrete block. It may catch, but I'm going to try to move it. I think if I'm patient, I can do it. Now, I'm not in a hurry. One of the things I've learned when doing heavy work like this, don't rush the job. All you're going to do is break stuff and probably hurt yourself, which is never a good idea. There's no job that's so important that you need to harm yourself. There we go. It is moving. That's a good sign. Make sure we don't break anything on the engine. All right. We're getting close. Now, the question is, am I able to move this precisely in this tiny little space? This is one of the main reasons I want to move out of here. You live in Miami. These yards are really tiny. And this is actually one of the bigger ones compared to what they make now. I want to live somewhere where you have plenty of room. If this was on an acre or 2 acres or 5 acres, I'd have this truck out in the open. I'd have this engine out already. Plus, around here, it's illegal to work on your own stuff. The code enforcement will fine you $500 a day if they catch you doing any of this stuff. Thankfully, I have a lot of cover and I have a garden hose, and if they come around here, I just stand in front of their camera. They can't use any evidence against you if you stand in front of their camera, because then they have to give you the rights under the Constitution. But if you're not here, they can simply say, well, we're taking the property to court. And that way they make it a civil matter and they can do whatever they want. Basically got it rigged. But that's okay. Once I get my truck fixed, I think Miami will be long in the history books. Some idiot will buy this place and probably tear it down and build a big black, white, and gray box. And that's what's going to happen. All right, so we're almost on the one fork. That's actually pretty good. I don't really want to pry against the oil pan, but I'm going to have to because I got this block right here. Hopefully I have enough room. I can get this up here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but just trying to use this shovel. Okay, the oil pan's kind of going on here. So we're getting up there. There we go. As you can see, maybe you can't see it, but this oil pan now is up and over this one fork. I have this piece over here, which is what the starter mounts to. This is cast iron, so it's easily broken. So we do not want to put any kind of force on this. And we'll just go on the other side, try to lift that end up. It takes time, like anything else. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. And again, we don't want to damage the engine. Take our time, little by little. There's no hurry. Now, again, the engine does have these lift points, but that's not going to help us until we tip it over. I don't want to lift it from the end and then risk damaging it. But I think we're getting there pretty good. The engine is moving. There it is. We may have hit the other edge of the engine, so I have to go over there and manipulate it some more. And I do have the crowbar here somewhere. Now I do have a choice. I could tip the engine over sideways and it'd be more stable. But I don't know. It is on this fork. I think it actually might even go in just by sliding it. I'm going to try it anyway. Little by little, we'll get the engine out of here. Now again, how many people do you know that do their own work on cars anymore. It's kind of unusual. Today's cars are unnecessarily complicated. So your average mechanic isn't going to try to work on it anymore. But this engine, this thing's pretty old. It is a 1990, but in terms of technology is more like the 1970s because the regulations on diesels were a lot less than they were on gasoline engines. Gasoline engines by the 1990s, even the 80s, they had computers and they had catalytic converters. This has neither one of those. Well, we're getting there. Actually looks pretty good. Now that it's on the fork, it may actually be movable by hand. It kind of is. I don't want to break off this oil filler neck. It's moving. It's a good sign. Oh wow, look at that. I can almost spin it around. Yeah, I can spin it around. Again, I don't want to break off this flange. So we're gonna, okay, the engine is moving. It's a great sign. There we go. I think it is stable enough to move, but I don't know for sure. I'm gonna bring it a little bit further back, like this, and then just make sure that it doesn't, this thing slides off. Not only will it damage the engine, but it could destroy whatever it hits. Yeah, the engine is on the forks, but I need to get it away from the truck. Yeah, it's on the forks. I think we're good. So I'm going to do now, let me see if I can kind of get it up a little bit higher maybe. It is on a slope. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. I'm going to get inside Bob. I'm going to tip this up gently. It's very important that you use the hydraulic controls slowly. No jerky movements, or you're going to have a demolition derby going on here. So let's get Bob started up. Let's try to rock this back. Before I move this, I'm going to make sure it's up in the air. It is. I'm going to see if I can slide this back a little bit more, just for my own peace of mind. There we go. Oh yeah. Engine looks very stable. I'm ready to move Mr. Bob. And as you can see, all I used was this handy dandy trenching shovel. And now we're going to back this up, and we're going to move it to the other side to get it out of here. What I'm going to do temporarily is probably place the engine behind the gate, cover it up with a tarp, and then that way I have all this open space. I can get in here, take the old engine out, and that's it. So this is great. Now again, most people look at this and go, you want me to move what? I'm not doing this by myself. But there are advantages. I'm not rushed for time. And I really don't have much going on today, although somebody did call me for work, which was a little bit of a shock because I told everyone, you know, don't call me for work, but oh well. That's okay. All right. All right. Heavy. There we go. Look at how easy that was. Okay. Just enough room to open the gate. Move my pressure cleaner. Oh yeah. This out of here. Come on. Go. Garbage pile. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right, here we are. Perfect. Perfect. Oh yeah. Come on. Shoot. Well, it's digging in the dirt. Oh well, I'm gonna have to get my pry bar. And my phone is overheating. Okay, let me shut this down.